I decided I wanted to be a jockey from a very young age. Got hooked on the speed, the adrenaline. You kind of go numb on the big races. A little bit deaf for a couple of seconds, and then it all just hits you at once. Cold, dark, wet mornings heading into winter, you'd often get up and just say why. But you have to pick yourself up and dust yourself off and go out.
It's 6:45 in the morning, and as the sun comes up over the grandstands of Ireland's historic Curragh racecourse, on the surrounding gallops, the hard graft has already begun. Just 18 miles from Dublin, these are considered some of the finest training facilities racing has to offer. But it's not just the horses who've been nurtured here, they've also been the breeding ground for many a top jockey. It's a life of early starts, gruelling physical fitness regimes and countless hours at trainers' yards. But it's all part and parcel if you want to become one of the best flat jockeys in the world.
Following in the footsteps of the likes of Pat Edery and Kieran Fallon, Chris Hayes is one of Ireland's young riding talents. This month on Winning Post, we're going to be going behind the scenes with him to find out what life is really like as a professional jockey. And we start here on the gallops at Kevin Prendergast's yard near Kildare.
Chris has been riding for Kevin from the start of his apprenticeship 12 years ago and is now his #1 jockey. He won his first Group 1, the Matron Stakes, for him in 2013, and since then they've gone on to enjoy continued success. With the Irish Champions Weekend just around the corner, it's here that you'll find him most mornings with a long line of horses waiting to be put through their paces.
Morning, Chris. So this is, 9 o'clock now. You've ridden how many horses this morning?
20 horses, 4 different trainers, so busy morning this morning.
And this is how you start every morning?
Normally in a work morning. Thursday would be a busy day for me, and Tuesdays they're quite busy on the Curragh as well, so yeah, it'd be a typical work morning.
What time does this sort of your alarm clock go off in the mornings?
This morning, 6:20, get up, get a cup of tea, get ready, get out, and I was on the gallops then for 6:45, meet the boss at 7, and they just kept coming like clockwork then to me after that, and back here again for second lot, so yeah, this one was my 20th.
And it's integral, I guess, just to sit on the horse to sort of feel how it is before getting to the racecourse.
Yeah, it's nice to get a feel of them. You get to know their characteristics and what they're like, and what way they like to be ridden, and whether they like to be in front, behind, come away from horses, come between horses, so it's important.
It's often a trainer's choice as to who they have riding their horses. At 84 years old, Kevin Prendergast has consistently been one of the most successful handlers in Ireland since the 60s, and he knows exactly what it takes to be a top jockey.
Dedication. There have been a lot of good riders with no dedication. Lester Piggott had great dedication, Frankie Dettori has great dedication, Yves Saint Martin back in the olden days, he had great dedication. Hard work is a successful recipe for everything. They have to be attentive and intent to their job, like any other job. Like if a 9 to 5, a fella has to be there at 9, he's there at 9, and he knocks off at 5. This fella's there at 6 to the following day. It's a 24-hour job.
In terms of Chris's sort of work attitude in the mornings, what's he like?
Well, he's one first in if he's needed, and he's last to leave.
As well as commitment to the job, maintaining their physical well-being is a huge priority for a jockey. Pound for pound, they're some of the fittest athletes in the world, and following a morning in the saddle, with evening racing still to come, we catch up with Chris again after lunch as he attends one of his regular physio sessions.
As soon as I was finished, I got home, had a quick run out to Curragh, back and over here for my appointment with Greg, so it's quite busy, even though I've only 3 rides later on, but they're 3 good rides, so you just want to make sure you're in tip-top shape.
Chris could be probably in here 2-3 times a week, depending on his schedule, but he'd be kind of the guy who comes here most, would have thought. He looks after his body, he's kind of creeping up the ladder and heading towards the top, so kind of prevents injury rather than kind of just coming here after injury. Chris and most jockeys would have a lot of problems in and around their trapezius and the rhomboid muscles because it's a repetitive strain and the position they're in riding horses all day. So these are the areas that are overworked and need special attention. They also get problems with their groins where they're kind of squeezing in on the horse, so they have to be released quite often as well. Jockeys don't like to kind of be off. To be fair, it's a very competitive business, so nobody wants to be out of saddle for longer than a day or two because somebody else will take their place.
How would you describe a jockey's physique?
Chris's back is nearly perfect, I would have thought, for a jockey. He's got good muscle definition, good muscle tone, which he requires for kind of pulling and dragging out of horses. So Chris is kind of nearly the closest you're going to get.
How does that make you feel, Chris? Almost the closest, almost perfection.
Yeah, I'd prefer if he said I was, but...
Well, you wouldn't be here. There's always room for improvement.
Well, Chris is lucky that he's managed to escape any serious injuries, but the risks are always there. Now, if you want to find out about one jockey who Greg has treated who has come back from life-threatening injuries, then head to the horse racing section of CNN.com.
An hour's drive from Kildare, we arrive at Goran Park at 4 o'clock for one of their evening fixtures. It's becoming ever apparent what a fast-paced and competitive world Chris is part of. Knowing the dedication and risks involved, it's perhaps easy to assume that a jockey's earnings reflect this. However, whilst at the top in the US, wages can be into 7 figures, for most jockeys, the reality is closer to 20,000. They're paid a flat fee for each ride, so meetings like this one can form the core of their income.
Hey Chris, how's it going?
All right, all good.
Yeah, how's the racing going so far?
Good, good. 2 rides, both ran well, 3rd and 4th, 1 good ride left, so yeah, hopefully we can get a bit of luck.
I guess these low-key meetings, this is your bread and butter, isn't it?
Yeah, they're the kind of stepping stones to lead you to the big meetings and the likes of Champions Weekend, and they're the ones we all make our livelihood off of. And you'd never know, like there's plenty of nice maidens here, you'd never know what kind of horse you could end up sitting on.
And I guess this evening really highlights the dangers in the sports with nasty fall in the last.
Yeah, thankfully Lee's okay. He got a nasty fall. The horse broke its leg just running down off the hill, so he got a nasty tumble. Fortunately Lee's okay, but the horse wasn't. But look, that's the dangers of the sport we're in. It's probably the only profession where an ambulance is following you around at 40 miles an hour, making sure you come back safe.
Picking up a last-minute ride for young Irish trainer Dennis Hogan, Chris finished 7th in the penultimate race, but he ended the meeting with a solid 3rd on Kevin Prendergast's 4-year-old Takassim. With the pressure off, I wanted to know why he had chosen a career that can have so many ups and downs.
I decided I wanted to be a jockey from a very young age. I went pony racing as a kid and just got hooked on the speed, the adrenaline, watching guys a little bit older than me whizzing around this field on ponies, and I looked deeper into it and the whole racing world opened up to me, and I just got bitten by the bug and didn't look back since. If you make the wrong call in a race, sometimes you think, why am I doing this? Or if you watch the horse you could have rode win, or if you get a bad fall on the gallops, you have to pick yourself up and dust yourself off and go out, because you owe it to the owner and trainer you're going out for in the next race to be at your best.
So it was an evening of mixed fortunes for Chris here at Goran Park. After the break, we'll be joining him on a rare afternoon away from the horses.